Hello guys and welcome back to Championship Predictions. We are back to predict more Championship games that we've got coming this weekend. How are you, Sophie?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, other than Coventry.
Well, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Despite this being Championship Predictions.
Guys, it's a busy week for us making predictions for all of these games this week, so your support is much appreciated. Let's dive straight in for 2,100 likes, and I reckon we can do that, guys. Please take 2 seconds to hit the thumbs up button. The Championship support is absolutely fantastic on this channel, so do that right now. Make sure you are subscribed as well, guys. It literally takes 2 seconds, and as you can see, we are so close to 80,000 now, which would be an unbelievable milestone to hit. So get involved, and we've got Premier League predictions coming later today as well at about 3:45. It's going to be crazy. Sophie, before we get into the predictions, here are the scores from midweek. You beat me 13-9.
Okay, not that much in it.
No, but that's good.
I wouldn't, yeah, so it's about time because I was having stinker after stinker, so yeah, 13's pretty good.
Yeah, no, you've done really well there. So fair play to you, Sophie. You've closed the gap a little bit. Let's get into the predictions, Sophie, starting at Fratton Park. It's Portsmouth versus Sheffield Wednesday, Sophie. And Pompey, they've had 2 really big games. They've gone away in both games to other teams down there. They beat QPR, They lost to Cardiff. It's okay that they got 3 points, but they need their next win. They've only picked up 1 win this season, and they need their first home win. Can they do it here? I don't think it's impossible. I think Portsmouth have showed some good signs, but I think Sheffield Wednesday could come here as favourites and could win the game as well. Do you know what? I'm going to kick this off by going down the middle, and I'm going to sit on the fence, and I'm going to go 0-0. And just before anyone tries to get in the comments and think me saying 0-0 means that I think these two are rubbish, that's not the case. Everyone draws a game 0-0 at some point. Good teams draw 0-0. I think this could be a stalemate.
Do you know, before this video I was going to say 0-0 as well, so to spice it up I'll say 1-1.
Oh, very spicy.
Yeah, I know, tasty that. I do think it's going to be a draw. Sheffield Wednesday right now, they're not in amazing form. Portsmouth, as you say, they've got 1 win. They were quite draw heavy before they got that QPR win, but I don't know, to then lose to Cardiff, you think they need something, especially being at home. So I don't think a draw would do much for them, really. I don't think it's a terrible result for Sheffield Wednesday, but I agree, I think they'd be the favourites coming into this, but I'm struggling to separate the two. So yeah, I'm going down the middle as well, but I'll chuck in a couple of goals. So 1-1.
1-1. Interesting. Share your thoughts on that one, guys. We're both going for a draw. Next up, we've got Bristol City versus Leeds United. Sophie, Bristol City have been really good lately. Of course, there's the tragic news just before we came back after the international break surrounding Liam Manning. But the players are responding really well.
Yeah, they've stepped it up for him, which you love to see.
And they got a great win against Middlesbrough. They got a good comeback against Stoke City. They got the draw, didn't they? But Leeds United, Sophie, 2 good wins out of 2 at home since the international break. And although I think this could be a draw, I think if Leeds are going to go to that next level this season, they've got to go and get 3 points. And I think it could be a really close game, but I wouldn't be surprised if they snatch it. Going to go Bristol City 0, Leeds 1.
Oh, okay, so we're going for the same deficit here, but I think Leeds are just going to snatch it as well. I think it could be a close game at times. I think Bristol City are capable of stepping it up against really good teams, and Leeds are a really good team at the moment. They're doing very well. But I do think they're going to snatch it. I think there could be a couple of goals, so I'm going to say Leeds 2-1, so they'll get the 3 points and carry on their fine form.
Yeah, exactly that. And I don't know, maybe at some point, if they can pull away into the distance, you know,
who knows? Make it a bit more comfortable for themselves.
Exactly. But first of all, they've got to try and tackle Sunderland in the division. The next one, Sophie, we will not be looking forward to this. Coventry City versus Luton Town. It's recreating the Championship playoff final back in May 2023. And 2 teams couldn't be further from a Championship playoff final. If anything, maybe we're going to have a League One playoff final between the 2 next year. Obviously, 2 clubs that had great rises up the table. There is a bit of pressure on Rob Edwards, but at least Luton did beat Watford. Of course, they lost to Sunderland in midweek.
They played well, though. I will say that they did.
I thought they should have got something.
Yeah, they did play well against Sunderland, and Sunderland have been absolutely flying. So despite losing, I think there was still positives to take from that game.
Oh yeah, I agree. As for Coventry, very few positives to take at the moment. We didn't lose in midweek is one positive. But do you know what? It's just, I'm repeating myself. There's no leaders, no experience, no spine to this team. The players we've got, there's still quality there. And they have to step up and grab this season by the scruff of its neck, or we could lose the greatest manager we've had in our lifetime. I'm not saying Mark Robins is faultless.
He's not, and he's not unsackable either, but he's got so much credit in the bank for me that people that are calling for his head, and also for Rob Edwards, because both managers are in a similar situation, and I think they've both got a lot of credit in the bank, so just give them some more time.
So what should we call this? The El Sakiko?
Sakio.
I'm going to say that I fancy Luton a bit more, but I reckon Coventry could get a draw. 1-1.
I'm really struggling for this one, because as much as I then feel negative, I've also got blind faith and possibly a little bit of bias as well, but purely because Luton did seem to step it up against Sunderland, and I'm like, if they play like that against Coventry, I'm a bit worried, to be honest. I just feel like we can't lose this one, so it could be another draw. Do you know what? I'll be daft. I'm going to go Cov 2-1.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know why.
What's
I can't
wrong
even
with you?
justify it. I'm just a Cov fan through and through.
Why would you do this?
Well, I'm hoping that we'll turn it around. And sometimes when teams come to us and they step it up and they're playing nice football, sometimes we respond well to that. So in the hope that if they play well, we'll play better, and hopefully we'll get the win at home. But I think that's blind faith predicting that one.
You're going to make us look stupid. I thought a draw was blind faith. I mean, some people are calling Coventry the most self-entitled fans in the country because we thought we were all going up, and now look at us.
Whereas the people that said, we're going up automatics, I wasn't one of those, but...
Looking forward to this game. On to the next one. It's Watford versus Blackburn, and I'm not sure, Watford's... They've not had a great return since the international break. They lost 3-0 to Luton, 2-1 at Leeds. That one's not so bad. Now they're back at home. They've got to try and make it 3 points. Blackburn Rovers, very good at home. They did have a 100% home record. Obviously they drew, so that's gone, but they're still unbeaten at home. I don't fancy Blackburn as much away, but I think this could be a draw, I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going for a 1-1 as well. I feel like recently it's really hard to separate certain teams because none are being that consistent, apart from like the top maybe 3 or 4. But yeah, I feel like again, this video is going to be quite draw heavy for both of us, but I can see a draw playing out. So yeah, it's either going to be 0-0 or 1-1 for me, and I actually agree. I think it could be a 1-1.
Yeah, I think there was about 6 or 7 draws in midweek. That's
there was a lot. Yeah.
That's why you got the better of me, because you predicted like 1-1 in every game.
Yeah, well, for most. Yeah.
Right, on to the next one, Sophie. We go to Turf Moor. Burnley take on QPR. This one feels quite self-explanatory.
I would not be looking forward to this as a QPR fan, not at all.
And you're probably not going to predict a draw here. I'm going to back Burnley. Let's go straight in with a 2-0 Burnley. Yeah. Only managed a draw at Hull City on the Wednesday night, but this game just really suits them, doesn't it? Even if Burnley aren't at their best. Yeah, QPR...
Although QPR can be a little bit better away from home. Their home form's not very good, but they are where they are.
Yeah, I thought QPR v Coventry was a pretty poor game with 2 poor teams. I think Burnley win this 2-0.
Yeah, I think Burnley should win this one pretty comfortably. It depends how much QPR are going to put up a fight, but I think this could be a pretty convincing Burnley win. 3-0 for me. I don't even think that's that harsh when you look at the table. Yeah. Burnley, I think they'll keep a clean sheet. It's just whether they can take their chances. I think there will be a few chances here. The only thing is they've not, apart from recent couple of games, they've not been finishing them enough for me, but they seem to have turned a corner there, and I think this one could be quite convincing. So yeah, 3-0.
That said, at the same time, I don't see QPR going down this season. I don't know why. I think they're just like a club that you think naturally will get better.
Will just survive. I do and I don't. Like when I'm looking at the bottom 3, I'm like, who's going to be in there?
I think teams that are overperforming in the middle
might drop down.
Might drop down, yeah. On to the next game, Sophie. This is interesting. We've got Derby County versus Hull City. I like Derby County at home. We both got their prediction right in midweek. We backed them to draw 1-1 at Oxford. So if they're winning the home games and now getting a couple of draws on the road like Millwall and Oxford away, the Derby are moving along very nicely.
Yeah.
That said, I want to give Hull City quite a lot of credit for taking a point off Burnley. That's a really good result.
It is, yeah.
I'm tempted to go for Derby, but I'm going to go for a draw here. I'm going to reward Hull for their result in midweek. I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay, I thought we might be going for the same scoreline again, but I'm going for a Desmond in this one. I think there could be a few goals. I do like Derby at home. Equally, I think Hull are playing some nice football at the moment. So, going down the middle, but a few goals and entertaining 2-2.
2-2. Wow. Yeah, share your thoughts on that one. We're going for quite a few draws today,
We
aren't
are, again, yeah.
Let's see if we go for a draw in the next one as we go to Home Park. It's Plymouth Argyle versus Preston. I just want to say straight away, Preston have been really, really good lately. Their defensive record is brilliant.
Yeah.
I know they conceded 2 against Norwich, but to still take a point off Norwich is good. I think they're moving along nicely, and I think Heckingbottom will get them into their natural position of mid-table and possibly on the outside of the playoffs. On the other hand, Plymouth,
They've dropped off a fair bit,
they
haven't
have dropped right off, but there's one thing that is tempting my prediction. They're at home.
Yeah.
They could be dreadful away from home, like they were at Cardiff, and then
get something at home.
And get back home and get a result. Plymouth 2-1, just because of the home advantage.
Oh, see, I'm going the other way. I was going to go for a draw purely because Plymouth are at home, but I like the football Preston are playing at the moment. What I will say is I do think Plymouth will turn it around because there have been positive signs, just the last few results have been pretty poor. So they could turn it around in this one, but I'm going to say no. I'm going to lean towards Preston because they're playing a bit better football for me. They can do that like dirty side of things where they might go 1-0 up and then they will see that game out, whereas other teams will struggle and panic. But no, they're very, very professional in what they do. So that's what I'm going for. 1-0 Preston.
1-0 Preston. Interesting. Yeah, there you go. We're going opposite directions. Share your thoughts on that one. Next up, we go to Bramall Lane as Sheffield United host Stoke City. Sheffield United were the form team of the Championship, but they've lost back-to-back games. Granted, difficult games away at Leeds and Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
And I think Gustavo Hamer's suspended for this one.
Oh, is he suspended for this one? Did he pick up a yellow?
He's picked up quite a few yellows already.
Well, yeah, I knew that, but I wondered if it was the suspension one.
That said, I think Sheffield United are still fancy, but I've been very kind to them recently and they've been letting me down. And Stoke City are a team that I always worry when I go against them that they're going to get something. So maybe that'll work for the Stoke fans here if I go against them. Sheffield United 1-0. I think if the Blades win, it's usually low scoring. They'll grind it out. But at the same time, Stoke have been okay lately. A couple of decent draws. Would not be surprised if they get something.
I'm going to go for a draw in this one. Yeah, because Stoke have been getting a few draws. And I feel like, I say it time and time again, on their day they can play some nice football. They're not a bad team. They just don't have their day every week. Sheffield United, though, their form has taken a slight dip. Certain players that have been putting in good performances haven't quite been at it. But all in all, they are a good team. And I think Michael Cooper's doing a very good job there.
You like him, don't you, the goalie?
I think he's a really good goalie, actually.
Yeah. No, I do. I think he's really good, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been good for them. He's settled in straight away, hit the ground running, and yeah, he's just having really good performances. So I'm going to go 1-1. I know it sounds really boring, but I think Stoke are capable of getting a draw off them.
Yeah, no, share your thoughts. Next up, we go to the Stadium of Light as Sunderland host Oxford United. And Sunderland are still top, Sophie.
Yeah.
I've tried to be clever. I'm going to hold my hands up and say I've tried to be clever with a couple of their predictions this season and tried to catch them out and look like the cool guy who was the first one to predict Sunderland to lose and they lost, sort of thing. I'm going all in on Sunderland here.
Okay.
Very impressed with that result at Luton in midweek. And Oxford United, do you know what? They're still moving along okay, but the wins have turned to draws and they're not winning away from home. I'm going to go all in. Sunderland 3-0.
Oh, that's harsh. I actually think that's harsh on Oxford because I think Oxford are capable of definitely scoring in this one and I think they're capable of keeping it a fairly close game. I'm not going to go all in and say that they're going to get the win there. I think that's a very, very hard task against an informed team. They're top of the league for a reason. So I am going to lean towards the favourites in this one. 2-1 paid off midweek, and I'm going to go for that again. I don't think it's going to be a complete landslide, to be honest, as I'm going to give some respect to Oxford, but Sunderland are just flying, aren't they? So got to give them the win. I'll say 2-1.
2-1, there you go. Lots of 2-1s and 1-1s.
Yeah, I'm going close.
Sensible.
Yeah.
Share your thoughts, guys. On to the next one. Down to South Wales we go as Swansea take on Millwall. This is a proper sort of mid-table battle.
Proper championship game, this, isn't it?
Yeah, two teams that have been in the championship for quite a while now. I don't know, it's one of them typical cliches. The winner of this closes in on the playoffs, and if they can get a good run going, that'd be fabulous. Swansea, not a bad 0-0 at Sheffield Wednesday. I did back them to get a draw, so I'm fairly happy with that. And we both called Millwall to win a home game 1-0, which they did.
I love that.
Yeah, not a bad result for either in midweek. I'm going to go for Swansea here with the home advantage. I don't want to take too much away from Millwall, but they were playing Plymouth, and Plymouth are not very good away from home. I think this will be close, but I'm just going to go for the home team 1-0 because I don't back Swansea enough sometimes.
Could go either way, and that's why I'm going to go down the middle on this one. I'm actually going to say another 0-0 for Swansea. I think it could be a stalemate in this one. I think two teams fairly similar, going to cancel each other out. So for me, it ends a draw. 0-0.
Yeah, that's a good prediction actually. I think there isn't a lot between them.
There's not right now.
And they're both like sort of steady, aren't they? You trust them to get clean sheets and stuff. And
they're not bad teams, are they?
Yeah. Share your thoughts. On to the next one. We go to the Hawthorns. West Bromwich Albion take on Cardiff City. And if you'd asked me about this game 2-3 weeks ago, I'd have gone
heavy West Brom.
On a heavy West Brom win. But I'm going to kick this off with a 1-1 draw. I'm going to give Cardiff something. I mean, West Brom, don't get me wrong, not a bad draw away at Blackburn, and they're still a very, very good team with a very good manager. But I think it's now 4 or 5 games without a win. And Cardiff, back-to-back wins. Granted, they were both at home and against lower opposition than West Brom. But I think they could get something. Their confidence will be up. 1-1.
Yeah, I think weirdly in this one, despite being the away side, I think Cardiff's confidence will be higher purely because of the last few results. But I think West Brom have got to turn it around at some point. They had a very, very good start to the season. They are a good team. We like the manager. Oh, this seems really harsh. I'm glad you've gave Cardiff something because this seems so harsh going against them. But 1-0 West Brom. Low scoring. I could see Cardiff getting something from this game, but I'm just going to edge West Brom.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I know Cardiff have had 2 really good results, but you're right, West Brom away is a very difficult game.
It is, yeah.
At least I'm backing your Cardiff to get something. The final game then, Sophie, is on the Sunday, and it's quite an interesting one. Norwich City versus Middlesbrough. I think it's 7th versus 8th. They're right outside the playoff places, and 2 teams that have got to be fighting to get in there. Yeah. I'm slightly leaning towards Norwich, I must admit, with the home advantage. But I was very impressed with Middlesbrough. I did watch them on the Wednesday night. Good headed goal from Latte Lath.
Yeah, because he's not been firing so far this season. He's a very good player as well.
Exactly. He was in great form last season, so that's got to be the kickstart for his season.
Could be a confidence booster, yeah.
Maybe he'll score in this game, and I think I'm going to go for another draw. We've been going for so many draws today.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 1-1 here, Soph. I like Norwich. I like them at home. I think they've got the ability to score 3s and 4s. But look, Middlesbrough are also a good team. Maybe they could just get out with something.
Oh, see, I was going to say a draw as well, but I'm going to have to spice it up. I'm going to lean towards the home side in this one. I say Norwich just snatch it 2-1 late on in the game. Borgia signs. Calling it now.
Oh, okay. He scored at Preston, didn't he?
He just keeps scoring. He's a very good player. He scored against us earlier on in the season. I think that's what it is. But
everyone's scoring against us.
Yeah, 2 good teams going at it. I see why you've gone for a draw, but I feel like I've gone too draw heavy, so I'm picking a winner.
There you go. Well, there you go, guys. Like I say, that wraps up the championship predictions for the upcoming weekend games. A massive thank you once again for your great support, guys. We're very busy this week, of course, with midweek championship games and the Champions League and League One and everything. So your support is appreciated. Please make sure you've dropped a like. It takes 2 seconds. And make sure you have subscribed. Look out for the Premier League predictions coming later today. And I want to wish your teams all the best this weekend. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace out.